businessman.
We have doubled the number of people who are employed in our economy.
Charmer, leader, villain. Since taking over as president of the country just over 14 months ago, Cyril Ramaphosa has shown South Africa that he's an intricately layered leader.
State capture has definitely had a very negative impact on the economy of our country.
Ramaphosa has had to reach deep into all the facets of his personality to convince voters to support the ANC for the last 4 months following the president on his campaign trail. It is very evident that there are many faces of President Cyril Ramaphosa.
He can be the ANC savior, he's not South Africa's savior, because the ANC is such a broken organization that is in fact inherently corrupt.
The businessman. Cyril Ramaphosa is no stranger to business. Prior to taking high office, he was a known multi-millionaire. This is where he exchanges his ANC windbreaker for a classy suit and tie.
He took advantage of the early BEE days, and he made himself a lot of money, and he learned how business works, and he's come back with that knowledge into politics.
His bright, bubbly smile is turned down a notch as he answers tough questions about the South African economy. In boardrooms and on the street, Ramaphosa makes it known he's a deal maker. He doesn't go to a community without referencing how he secured close to $35 billion worth of investment for South Africa last year.
I mean, he's said to be a very strong negotiator, and I believe that those negotiations will come in very handy when he has to negotiate the kind of cabinet that he wants.
His business pass earns him the trust of business people and the respect from many party supporters.
He is first and foremost a politician. He learned his politics when he was a young man. He then went into business, and he learned business very well.
It's fascinating to hear the president talk about like other things besides politics. For example, his fascination with cattle. That's always been a fascinating thing for me. But also how he feels at home with business people. It's almost as if in politics he's a little bit of a fish out of water.
Viva ANC, viva! Viva ANC, viva!
And for all the good intentions that he has, he's going to fail in what he wants to do because of the ANC as an organization. And it's that vehicle that's completely broken. Therefore, Ramaphosa has no real chance of taking the ANC forward. Therefore, there's no chance of taking South Africa forward.
Hashtag Mkaba must fall.
Cyril Ramaphosa is a known charmer. And I guess he has to be as he tries to convince people that he is best fit to run the country.
Trevor, I never get this type of applause, so I'm jealous.
He comes across as someone that's difficult to read, but at the same time, I mean, if you compare him to presidents gone, even to President Thabo Mbeki, he's not very outgoing, he's not very interesting.
When he goes to communities, he usually speaks to them in their mother tongue, drawing much admiration. And his early morning walks have helped his popularity. Ramaphosa's door-to-door ANC campaigns have been a little different, where he doesn't just hand out a t-shirt, but takes the time to engage the people he meets. Ramaphosa has been repeating the same jokes everywhere he went. We actually said that he has repeated the same jokes in all official languages of South Africa. And he tells the story about how when he was deputy president, he went to the Eastern Cape and a lady invited him to his home and made him sit on his bed and go into the bathroom and open the cupboards for him. A story that isn't really that funny, but often gets a lot of laughter because, the tone that he says it, it's almost like suggested that the lady made him sit on her bed, The point that he would make with that joke is that, the ANC had improved people's lives.
I declare the Honorable Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa duly elected President of the Republic of South Africa.
Cyril Ramaphosa, as leader of the country, is the most serious of them all. He shows up apparently prepared and hardly shies away from questions.
This issue is critical, it is emotive, and it is very sensitive.
His opposition claimed that he's the softest president that South Africa has ever had, and thus many find him incapable of running a country.
We must remember that President Ramaphosa is the weakest president that the ANC has had, where he has a very slim majority within the NEC of the ANC.
But his supporters say he is calculating, often taking time to listen before responding.
I wish that the Metro of Tshwane can go back to the ANC, because in the current hands we are not safe. We are not satisfied, we are not being attended, we are not being looked at. So we're happy about Ramaphosa.
Ramaphosa's punctuality and his articulate speech has made him popular in urban areas. But some claim there is a disconnect between Ramaphosa and people in rural areas.
If I look at the current administration, the ANC administration, it's no different from the old apartheid regime, in the sense that it only serves the few, like those around. And like if you're not connected to those around you, then you stand to benefit nothing.
As a leader, he is known to always say the right thing, but he is often criticized for being all talk and slow action.
They didn't respond to our issue, so that's what pushes us. If you can go in the inner Alexandra, you will feel the smell. It's not habitable for a human being.
In January this year, it was very early on in the campaign. It was around the time of the ANC's manifesto launch. And that was when Cyril Ramaphosa, for the first time, came out to say, you know, the ANC had a troubled past, basically making a veiled reference to the Zuma years and what he inherited. But that was an important part of the campaign, to say, yes, things went wrong in the last 9 years, but we're trying to fix it. Cyril Ramaphosa, the villain, is most well known amongst the people of Marikana, an area he has avoided since the 2012 Marikana massacre. Ramaphosa, who was a Lonmin shareholder at the time, had famously called for concomitant action to end an unprotected strike in 2012. In total, 44 people were killed. 34 of them were gunned down by police. He has repeatedly said that he would go to Marikana to engage the community and the families of the victims, but to date he has not. I do think that Cyril Ramaphosa's not going to Marikana as he had promised to do, I think that if he becomes president, that's going to work against him, because it's almost a no-go area for him.
Local government, the municipality, must embark on a program to clean up Alexander.
On his campaign trail, Ramaphosa had to often calm the anger of communities who were furious over the lack of services, while at the same time showing as much empathy as he can. He tries hard to allay fears and to calm tensions, and he does this by making very specific promises.
Over the past 25 years, we've been working very hard, and we are going to continue working to correct what was done in the past.
This has brought him the trust of many communities who see Ramaphosa as different to the ANC he leads. His peacemaking demeanor helped draw support from communities who are known to be anti-ANC.
And we will make sure that the needs that you have are addressed.
I think the bad thing that we've seen in this campaign is Ramaphosa being sucked into the politics of Luthuli House, the ANC's headquarters. We saw something emerge not so long ago where the party secretary general says my phone is being tapped by government entities, and the president coming out and saying no, that's not true. While the many faces of President Cyril Ramaphosa may have enabled him to reach out to a wide spectrum of South Africans, it has also raised a crucial question. Which Cyril Ramaphosa will the country see emerge after the 2019 elections?
The difference between putting South Africa first and the ANC first on polar opposites, that's where President Ramaphosa is going to struggle, especially when he's surrounded by characters such as PEACEMAKER, Nomvula Mokonyane and Didi Mabuza.
We are ready for you, Ramaphosa, and we are ready for the elections. We are with you all the way.